rock and roll, mind control, and a year's worth of nonsense straight to your head hole. Watchbots, you're watching Watchbots. Do.
Just making sure. I was going to hit the button a minute ago. All right, there we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Watchbots, the podcast that's about cartoons, kind of depending on the week. This is Ben. I'm joined by Shaylin.
Hello.
And returning from a week in the crypt, Dave.
Happy birthday, Mr. Podcast Host.
Wouldn't it be cool if it coincided with one of our actual birthdays?
That would be sweet.
It would be great.
So,
but alas.
Alas. But we do have some good news and some bad news. The good news is we are celebrating our first birthday with this blowout bash. It's a spectacular. The bad news is, as I was putting some notes together, I had a realization. So this is episode 52. The first birthday would really be episode 53. So we have fucked up.
We have another whole week. Hooray.
Damn it.
This show is like a freight train. You know, the wheels get going, you put coal in the oven, and we can't get off the track. So we're going to treat this as the first birthday.
I say fuck it. We're doing it.
Yeah, I actually think that this is pretty close to the anniversary of the recording date, because it took a while to get that first episode off the ground.
That's true.
Yeah. So it's an anniversary in some sense.
Of something somewhere, yes.
Yeah. Happy birthday, something.
Something. So to the haters out there who thought we wouldn't make it past episode 2, I see you out there.
Yeah.
And suck it.
Yeah, thought we were too woke.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are.
Not woke enough.
Woke as ever. Or not woke enough.
One of those two things.
Perpetually woke. So I had planned a number of surprises, and as will happen, most of them had fallen through. I had planned a couple of special guests, and then I fucked up and started that process too late. I had thought briefly about doing a supercut of sorts, like a best of, but then, you know how much work that would take?
Yep.
That kind of time.
We'd have to skip
so much to
weeks.
this show. Yeah, we'd have to skip like 3 weeks just to get that supercut. But I have been busy, and you know, I want to do a little something for you both and for the listeners. Birthdays have a lot of traditions.
Indeed.
What's something you eat on a birthday?
I mean, cake or ice cream traditionally.
Cake is what I'm centering in on here.
Okay.
What do you put in a cake, Dave?
What do you put in a cake?
Yeah, like what do you do with a cake?
When you're making it?
Well, no, not the ingredients. After it's frosted.
Oh, okay. What do you put in a cake? Let's see here. Candles?
Candles is the answer I was looking for. I didn't think it would be that much of a riddle. But with that in mind, I have a little something for you. And by a little something, I mean a lot of something. So hold on to your butts. Goodbye, our first year. Though we didn't talk Smurfs at all, we hit Fantastic Max and saw Bo Jackson play football. You know we added context. And Wienerville, it was insane. There was talk of splooge and boners. The banter was not inane. And it seems to me that John Rambo, he likes to yell at kids. And we were always real shocked by the violence. And I wanna make sweet love to cats. Oh no, wait, that's Shaylin. The candle's blown out, Watchbots is one. Louis a creepy kid. There's 2 more verses. Hold on. Stand by. Tiny Toons was rough, and there were many long games we played. Voice acting superstar, Pat Fraley's work was praised. And even when Dave farts on the mic and he refused to accept the blame, we stayed woke and yelled about poop. And it seems to me that John Rambo, he likes to yell at kids. And we were always real shocked by the violence. And I wanna make sweet love to cats. Oh no, wait, that's Shaylin. The candle's blown out, Watchbots is one. Louisa, creepy kid. I got boogers too. No problem.
Boogers and verses.
Goodbye, Rainbow Bright. We didn't talk Batman at all, but we saw lots of big hands and bears that bounced like balls. Goodbye, Ghostbusters. From the man behind this microphone, Weenie Sea Cats is very sexual, more like Meowrelyn Monroe. And it seems to me that John Rambo, he likes to yell at kids. And we were always real shocked by the violence. And I wanna make sweet love to cats, still Shaylin. The candle's blown out, Watchbots is one. Louisa, creepy kid. Blap, 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 blap. So congratulations, we have made it.
Dave, in case it's not clear, Ben just sang that live.
Yes.
That was not a recording.
Yeah, I got it. Ben, that was wonderful.
Thank you.
How long did it take you to write that song?
Let's see, probably a half hour, and then a few revisions.
A half hour after every time you recorded, you just added a little bit.
No.
So it was a year-long process.
Yes, yeah. The germ of inspiration is slow to sprout sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, needs to incubate.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have more birthday stuff, but I think let's talk about Disney Plus a little bit. When listeners are hearing this, it'll be almost a week, and we have all spent a little bit of time on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And for my thoughts on The Mandalorian, you can listen to this week's WatchBots Prime. But
speaking of WatchBots Prime, I'm going to go back for 1 second.
Right. Hashtag.
Ben introduced a hashtag, listeners, for our birthday. And while we're celebrating our birthday tonight, please use hashtag the moment I stopped listening to share your favorite moments of WatchBots so far. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or you can email us at watchbotspod.com. Is that it? I don't know our email address.
Yep. Email us at watchbotspod.com. But thank you for that reminder. So Disney Plus. What do you guys think so far? I mean, I know we're just a couple of days in here.
I'm liking it. I like the I know it's easy to navigate. They didn't do anything too fancy or whatever. There is so much content. Yep. I don't know where to begin.
Yep.
There's an interesting thing on the older content that will pop up before you start watching, for example, like the original animated Peter Pan, where It's like, hey, there's some insensitive depictions of races here. So like, whoops.
So that's the content that you aspire to?
I think it's really, no. I think it's funny that people are mad about that somehow when they're
Sure.
not editing anything and they're not limiting or
Well,
censoring.
no, they are editing.
What are they
They
edit?
added another cut into Star Wars A New Hope.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Another line into the Han Greedo scene, which is messed up.
Somehow that scene over time has like doubled in length,
Yeah,
which is
it's true.
foolish.
I like how did they do that as a publicity stunt? Like, did they really need to entice more people to get the platform? Like, it was clear, like, millions of people are going to download it the first day.
Yeah, 10 million in the first day is what they reported.
That's
Wow.
bananas.
It's crazy too because like they snuck in for years. People have been clamoring for a Star Wars 4K remix with all the Dolby sound and all that, and they just snuck that into the release with no announcement or anything, which is pretty crazy. They also fucked up the Simpsons aspect ratio, so it's still cut off from the top and bottom. But yeah, it's a bummer. But yeah, I mean, there is just so much stuff.
so much.
It's really hard to, like, they have their subdivisions and stuff, but unless you're actually browsing the list, you can't really see the breadth of it. But I went through and I added a few things to my watch list, including 1978's Candle Shoe, which is a tomboy cons a nobleman to find a treasure trove of Spanish doubloons.
Oh, cool.
Yep, looks like a good one. We also
wait.
have Old Dogs, which of course is the Robin Williams John Travolta movie, but it's not coming to Disney Plus until February 9th, 2020. So they have those previews up there. But I mean, there is some
making
cool
you
stuff.
making you salivate, making you
Yeah.
drool.
They're going to get that money out of you. So I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
it's really amazing.
What was
just
the
stuff up
What
there.
was the first thing you watched?
So Shaylin and I did watch The Mandalorian, but I did click around some of the Star Wars stuff just to see what the 4K remaster looked like.
Okay.
How about you?
My wife and I watched I'm forgetting the name of it. The Pixar short that came out before Incredibles 2. The one about the woman and her like dumpling baby.
Oh, Bow.
Bow.
Thank you.
That is upsetting.
Yeah, it was very upsetting. And Ben, you had sent me a text message saying like all these Pixar shorts are really sad, and we were like literally coming to the point where she like is struggling to keep her son at home and not go away with his girlfriend. So yeah, you were right. They are fucking sad. They're all super
Did you
sad.
see Float?
Yeah.
Well, what is Float?
It's the new Pixar short.
No, I have not seen Float.
Well, if you want to see me enraged and sobbing simultaneously and just cussing out Pixar as an entity and each individual person, put that on a screen in front of me. Holy shit, is it sad?
I've seen you crying and frustrated and very angry at Ben before, so replace Pixar with Ben, and I've seen that.
If only I floated above the ground like that young boy.
It's basically like, hey, if you're the shittiest parent alive, it's cool. Just say whoops. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Wait,
It's so sad.
Does he like invent a hang glider or something and like crash and die? Is that what's going on? Give me
So
the plot here.
I mean, the idea is there's a kid who floats, and he appears to have a single father who can't handle it. So he yells at the kid, and he puts rocks in his backpack. Then, like he screams at the kid on the playground, and then finally, he accepts the boy for who he is. But this appears to be after, years of like a mommy dearest situation. It's fucked up.
Oh, Jesus.
He breaks his child's spirit, and then to repair his child's spirit, he sits on a swing.
Spirit.
I'm sorry, that's like years, if not decades, of therapy that
Sure.
man inflicted on
Sure.
that baby.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna go mute and go watch it. I'll be right back with my report.
About 7 minutes. In the meantime, I will talk about a couple of the other older things that are on there. So there's a really cool special, one of the old Wonderful World at Disney specials, and it's, I imagine, one of the last ones that Walt Disney did, and it's about a year at Disneyland. So it shows the opening of It's a Small World and some of the Mr. Lincoln stuff, and it's a cool look back at that time period. And that kind of stuff doesn't come up too often. I would love to see more things like that. And there's a really neat looking Imagineering documentary, which is getting really good reviews. Hopefully by the time we reconvene next week, we can talk about that a little bit more. But it's good stuff. I mean, I'm on a free trial, but $6 a month is like nothing for everything you get.
I would sacrifice my couple of coffees a week to make that $6 happen.
That's
It's
brave
that
of
good.
you.
I'll go get my hair cut at the local military base.
Considering how
going
bad
to a
my
dental
last
school
hair
to get
was.
my teeth cleaned.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's good stuff. So this week we decided we needed to go back to our roots, as Behind the Music would show us. And when we first got together, we watched an episode of GI Joe called The Games Master, and I think it's fair to say it's wacky shit, right?
Wacky as hell.
Probably the wackiest.
Maybe not, as it turns out.
I don't know that it's the
yeah.
wacky-est.
Yeah.
Top 5 wacky.
Yeah. Definitely in the top 5. But I figured we owed it to the listeners, the diehard Joe heads out there, to go back and catch G.I. Joe at its finest. And I feel confident in saying that we accomplished that task.
We sure did.
Hell yeah.
And so, we've talked about the history behind the show before, so I guess I don't want to rehash that. I did not go back and listen to the first episode, and we'll never, ever do that. But
It doesn't sound great, by the way.
I'm sure. I assumed that we covered it sufficiently. But, I guess just a couple of things here. I always thought that some kids were G.I. Joe kids and others were Transformer kids. Is that right? Did you guys fall on one side of the fence or the other?
I watched both, Ben.
Oh, so I was wrong. Thanks.
I also spent a lot of time watching TV, so I might be an anomaly.
So did I, but
I like shut down. No, I know I never got that sense, but why were you strictly in the Transformers camp?
I don't know that I was strictly in that camp, but I certainly watch more Transformers and, would go back and watch more Transformers now over G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Transformers just has like a cooler plot, like the cooler, like, I don't know, kind of backstory and everything. Like G.I. Joe is just sort of jingoistic, Joe's going after Cobra.
Yeah. Transformers is jingoistic too, but, Cybertronian jingoism is a little bit different.
Right. Exactly.
So we're still in the middle of the Sunbow run, which is the original series. So this is way before Deke came on board. And it's funny, right? Because like the PSAs, the Fensler film stuff, pork chop sandwiches and all that.
Who wants a body massage?
Exactly. Oh, I don't know. We should just do those. But those were all from the Deke run, all those PSAs. The Sunbow cartoons don't have those, at least as far as I can tell. I could be wrong, but I think that's really interesting because the Sunbow run ended with G.I. Joe the movie, which came out in April of '87. The Deke show didn't start up for 2.5 years after that. So there was this big gap, right, between like what you would consider classic G.I. Joe and, well, I guess it's still all the characters and stuff, but pretty fascinating stuff.
So they just ran the first few seasons of Joe like in syndication while they made like another couple years of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I haven't come across something like that yet.
Yeah, could you argue that they didn't have enough characters? No. They had enough to run through.
There was plenty for them to do.
Yeah, Transformers did something, very similar where G1 transformed, good God, into G2, but those were different iterations of the characters. In a lot of the cases, the newer G.I. Joes were the same. They continued to add and rotate, but it's not like the show changed drastically or anything.
Yeah, and they didn't really, the characters didn't really evolve all that much. It was just like, hey, we're doing the same thing as we were 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What amazes me about this episode that we watched in particular, I believe it was episode 5. Is that correct?
Well, it's episode 51, but...
Oh, 51. I'm sorry. I misread it.
The number 5 is certainly in there. Good job identifying your digits.
I did zero research into this, but it's still early in the run. And it even the Deke run came much later.
Deke.
So it's amazing that they ran out of ideas but just kept going and going and going. I was fascinated by that. What the fuck were they thinking with this? It's baffling to me. And I once again apologize for not doing any research.
That's okay.
I do not apologize.
We've talked about toyetic before, but I think that this is really an encapsulation of that. And, G.I. Joe was a Marvel and Sunbow show, but they were run by the Hasbro toys. So there was so much connection. Like, we got this fucking stupid boat. You got to have an episode around the boat. And that's,
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure, well, I'm not sure. I'm theorizing. It was like, oh, well, we want to see Zartan's house. So you need a Zartan episode. And that's how you end up with this.
Yeah, we needed a one shot of Joe's on hang gliders so we could sell that product.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's something I appreciate too. Like, anything you see in those episodes, baby, you can go to the store and buy it. That's fantastic.
And I feel like on some level, it demonstrates a certain level of creativity for the writers to be like, okay, you guys have an established like arc and you have characters
Sure.
who fit into certain boxes. Now add lemon juice. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Now add, bankruptcy. There we go. We haven't touched on that yet.
guitars.
Yeah. Cobra files for chapter 9.
Economic stylings and subliminal messages, the hippest topics of the mid-'80s.
Indeed.
Kids will love it.
So the episode that we're talking about today is Cold Slither, and it means a lot of things. None of them sexual, unfortunately. That's what I was hoping for. But written by industry vet Michael Charles Hill. So he was a producer on this show. He also worked with Transformers and GoBots and Cops and Dragon's Lair. And he's going to be involved in the new G1 era Transformers show. So just a dude who has been around and knows his shit.
Knows what he's doing.
So how we ended up here, I don't know. But
It was vastly entertaining.
no Flint Dilly, I'll just say that.
Oh, certainly not. No.
Go back to the beginning. So the episode aired December 2nd, 1985. And as we have said, talking about things without context, it's dangerous. It's a farce. So it gives me a little feeling. And should I play a song
Well-
this week?
A little contextual feeling?
Maybe. Ooh, what were we seeing? It's contextual feeling.
Do you remember the movie Burn After Reading with
Yes.
Yeah.
with Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Every time that song comes on, I do that Brad Pitt dance from that and I bite my lip. That's all.
Hopefully it ends a little better for you than it did for old Brad in that movie.
Yeah, well, I'll just avoid George Clooney and his chair.
Yeah. George Clooney's Nespresso commercials, by the way, are a fucking delight. There's one where he's like a knight and he has to go and he gets Nespresso from present day and brings it back to the castle.
I've missed these and now I need to watch them. Hold on, I'm going to go on mute again.
Literally,
Give me 7 minutes.
every time that those ads come on TV, Ben just starts giggling.
Well, it's good.
It's like earnest laughter,
Yeah.
and I love it.
I think I like whimsical coffee commercials between that and the Paul Stanley Folgers commercial. I love them all. so early December,
Who's ready for some coffee?
early December 1985. I think I could safely say it was my jam. Top movies at the box office. Number 1, Rocky IV, which is an amazing movie.
Yes. What's your favorite Rocky IV moment?
It's a stumper. I think when Drago is going to fight Creed and they go to like touch gloves and then Drago stares down Rocky and there's this the most manufactured tension you've ever seen in your life. But that's one of like a million moments.
Yeah, mine's the robot.
That's a fine selection.
Why the fuck is a robot there? I don't know, but whatever.
So I have a deep cut for both of you.
Okay.
The best part of Rocky IV is the weird fan video that someone
Yes.
made and posted on YouTube, which is just a reconstruction of the training scene
Yeah.
with dudes who look nothing like the
But they were
characters.
all in really good shape.
They were in good shape, but the set pieces and the actors were not correct.
No,
And it was
they're
hilarious
perfectly
and
correct.
great.
We'll put this one in the show notes. Emily and I watched that video last week, and it holds up just as well as I could have imagined. And No Easy Way Out by Robert Tepper.
Yeah.
That's not even ironically a banger. That's a good song.
I have it on one of my playlists for my commute, which is always a good thing to be listening to on the train
Oh,
when
yeah.
I feel like a trapped rat.
Sure. You go out.
I play it when I go poop.
I do when I go out in my Firebird, contemplate my friend being killed.
Yeah, you like flip up your jean jacket collar.
Hell yeah.
It's always weird when you come home and just start screaming, Drago!
But here's the thing. Rocky IV is not even the movie I'm most excited to talk about. Number 2 at the box office. One of Shaylin's favorites. Santa Claus the movie.
Yes. Just kidding. Wait, Santa Claus the movie sucks. I was confusing it with The Santa Claus, which is actually like one of my favorites.
Well,
And about 10 years too late or too early.
You're absolutely right. We were talking about it yesterday, so I got confused.
just pay attention to what we're talking about, and we'll get through it.
I was checking a note about something.
Mm-hmm. So, Santa Claus the movie
Is
for
terrible.
The uninformed, and I don't want to sound snobbish, but if you don't know about this movie, you're uninformed. It's produced by the Salkines, who were behind the Superman movies. It stars a character actor as Santa Claus, but he's not super important. It's got homeless kids. It's got Dudley Moore. It's got John Lithgow doing like a Bugsy impression. It is bananas. It is
Terrible is the word.
fantastic.
Terrible.
They put a lot of pop songs into it. It looks like it was shot on an 8mm camera that had wax paper over it. It's fantastic.
The way they shoot like the Christmas lights, like they like engulf the frame. Oh God, it's terrible. It's
Super
like, the movie
duper
makes me
looper.
the movie makes me nauseous when I watch it.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Or I should say when I watched it, because I've only seen it once and never again.
I try to
Hashtag
watch it
never
every
again.
year.
And I get dragged into it somehow in spite of it being terrible and hating it.
Is Santa Claus the movie on Disney Plus?
Better not be.
Hold on.
I'm not watching it if it is.
Listeners,
You're on your
Some
own.
live research.
stand by. Unlike when Shaylin's on Instagram, this is important.
I was not on Instagram.
I will play some standby music while you look it up.
It is not. No, just the ultimate Christmas present. 'Twas the night. The search for
Noel?
Santa Paws 2, the Santa Pub, Santa Buddies, the Legend of
What about
Santa Paws.
The Santa Claus.
Santa Claus 1, 2, and 3 are all there.
Excellent.
Yes.
But those aren't the movie we're talking about. And then top songs, 2 of the top songs. This is good. Mr. Mister, Broken Wings,
Okay.
and We Built This City by Starship.
Hell yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah.
I love it.
So what you're telling me is this week in pop culture was just excellent across the board.
It's true. And it's ironic that we built this city on rock and roll because this episode of television also built kind of sort of on rock and roll.
What?
Think
What a
about it.
segue.
Tangentially connected.
After a year, my pro level teases they're off the chain, off the cheesy.
You've honed them. You perfected them.
That's right.
It's good stuff. I love it. Should we play a song?
Yes.
Let's play a song.
Yo, Joe! He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra the enemy, fighting to save the day. He never gives up, he's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe! G.I. Joe is there!
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's dare.
Do you want to hear the whole song? Go back to episode 1. But it's still good. I mean, it's a classic.
It's so good.
There's a couple of things in this opening that stood out to me that didn't before. One of them is, so Destro is like in a tank and he falls out and the Joes are just like throwing him around like he's a tennis ball.
Yeah, and then they throw him at one of the other Joes, like into him. Like there's like a guy catches him, a guy catches him, a guy catches him, and then they throw him into another Joe. Like, were they hazing that guy?
Yeah, it felt like that.
I mean, it is the military, so it's possible.
you can't do Destro
true.
like that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they did.
I also noticed too, they really, even here, we're de-emphasizing the Duke character. You know, you saw a lot more of Flint and the other sort of ancillary folks. And at one point, I believe in the movie, the plan was to kill Duke off, similar to how they killed off Optimus Prime. But I mean, they backtracked on it. Maybe the idea of an actual person dying is just too much to handle for the 6-year-olds.
Maybe.
I don't know.
They could have written him off another way though. Like, you know, he quietly
Honorable
retires.
Honorable discharge.
Or dishonorable discharge.
No, I said honorable.
I like dishonorable.
I like dishonorable.
This was pre Don't Ask, Don't Tell, so it could have been a scandal.
Could have been.
Yeah.
And he would have been in the right because live your life. YOLO.
Yeah.
He
Authentic
waterboarded
self.
Destro or something.
Oh, God. Yeah, that would be less horrific than him just dying is a torture.
Yeah. Well, they could do it all off screen, classy like.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed about this song is the narrator. And he may sound familiar because he was the narrator on the Jurassic Park toy commercial that we reviewed, I don't know, about 30 episodes ago.
Yeah,
Dino
100 years
damage.
ago.
Yeah. And so, like, it's clear that guy aged from this recording this to the Jurassic Park one, because this one he sounds like he fits, right? He's just like the perfect fit for this show and the characters and all that. But the Jurassic Park one, he's like the Velociraptor, just very, very aged, very old sounding.
Now, do you think that Hasbro wrote his paycheck in both instances?
Hasbro didn't make the Jurassic Park toys. That was Kenner.
Okay.
So no,
Maybe
I
not.
don't think so. That's like when I tried to make a point earlier and you shut me down. Said mine is based in fact.
You asked my opinion. I gave you my opinion.
Whew, this tension is crazy. Kind of like the boardroom Cobra was in after he had to announce bankruptcy.
Oh my God.
That's a big league tease, but you've jumped too far.
Fuck!
Because we got to go.
Damn it!
But you have introduced an important theme here. Let me play a clip.
Careful with those crates, you morons! This hole's got to finance us for the next fiscal year!
So the idea of Cobra's
God.
fiduciary status is like central to this episode. And it starts right here where they're talking about Cobra's next fiscal year, which would imply that they have, a board of directors and stakeholders.
A budget.
Yeah, a budget as well.
We're not going to get that venture capital that we need.
Yeah, you don't want to get bought by VC. It's never going to end well for you. The Cobra guys, you got a bunch of generics, and Major Blood and Storm Shadow are there, and they're loading up a cave with all kinds of goodies, and we'll see what the goodies are in just a second. But I always had an appreciation for these generic Cobra guys. You sign up, you get your blue uniform, and you just do shit. It would be fun to be a lackey.
Totally.
I agree, like a stormtrooper or a foot soldier. Yeah, I would love like a backstory. I guess The Force Awakens already did this, but like a backstory into one of the Cobra Commander's soldiers, just like they're, a day in the life of.
Yep.
I was going to say, my biggest dream of all of it is that I wouldn't have to wake up and wonder what to wear to work because they've already issued me a uniform every day.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
That'd be
I
liberating.
like that. Yeah.
Who's your favorite pop culture, like, lackey subgroup?
I'd probably have to go Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're threatening at once threatening and also just goofballs. They show them really well in the Star Wars movies.
Mm-hmm. Shaylin?
I was going to say Stormtroopers, but I was on the fence if Ewoks count. They're not really like subjugated, but then like they participate, but they're...
Are Ewoks lackeys?
Well, that's what I was getting at. Like they fought for the cause, so I guess they're not.
Yeah, the question is about lackeys. Shaylin, the question's about the economy. Well, I'll go. I always liked in Transformers when they would go on Cybertron and you would just see like the random generic Transformers that were never named. Like, who are those poor bastards? You know what I mean? Like,
they don't even like get to change into things.
Yeah.
They're just like kind of like red and gray.
Yeah, that's Greg. He transforms into a pen.
Yeah. He's
That would be a Decepticon.
They're all Pintos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like Shaylin's answer though. Like favorite lackey, Marlin from Finding Nemo.
Ooh, what a burn!
I just think I have Ewoks on my mind because that was the bedtime story I read to our kid tonight.
I was going to say because that's your approximate height.
Thank you.
Does Mo from Guts count?
Oh, Mo! I would accept Mo from Guts or Harvey from Double Dare.
Ooh.
Oh, Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
I changed my answer to Harvey.
I take Stormtroopers then.
Well, listeners, we want to hear from you at WatchBotsPod, # my favorite lackey. So the Joes raid the cave. They go through the generic Cobra guys like butter, and they get to the hall. And let's listen to it, and then we're going to talk about it.
Will you look at this?
We expected a haul, but...
Man, this is too much.
Cobra had the Mona Lisa,
They stole the Mona Lisa.
and she was smiling.
And sacks of money with the dollar signs on them.
You don't store your
man.
money in canvas bags that
It's
have
all
money
believable
signs?
until we get to
Not
the Mona
canvas
Lisa.
ones, no. And mine have the euro.
Scrooge
for some
McDuck
reason.
over there.
Yeah. It's in a giant pool. There's like leaves and dead animals in it now.
It's very funny. So this is where the episode falls off the rails, to coin a phrase. We cut to a business building, and this is the home of Extensive Enterprises, which is run by the twins Tomax and Zammot. They share an empathic connection commonly known as the Corsican syndrome, in which identical twins are believed to be physically bonded. Or psychically bonded. Physically bonded would be a different kind of twin. But you get these two lurchy-looking fucks with weird collars and weird ties. Their ties were drawn very strangely. This bothered me.
Their ties, oh God, their ties look like they were hung by like shower curtain rings.
Yep.
Like they looked like living room drapes. I couldn't figure it out. Like, why would anybody draw a tie like that?
Well, because they were dressed like men who normally wear the blue uniform with the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
That for this particular day, we're like, we will wear like business people clothes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They have no idea. They just give me that shower curtain, and they just take it and kind of rip it up and
Exactly.
put it around their neck. Yeah.
It's like my toga parties in college. But they're like Cobra's financial backers. It's all very
As
confusing.
investors.
I think they can explain it better. This clip is a little bit long, but I think we need all of this because, well, we just do.
I will not tolerate this. I control the largest criminal organization in the world.
That was true until today.
When all of your men applied for unemployment benefits.
This is degrading.
You have 48 hours, Commander.
To come up with $200 million.
There's a lot going on in there. There's a shot of literally the generic Cobra guys they're in a line going into the unemployment office. This was strange.
I was trying to remember or trying to figure out like the
Sure.
financial status of the American economy when this was when this aired.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't have been like a presence necessarily in a lot of American homes the same way as if it had aired in say like 1990.
Right.
It was very confusing and seemed like it would probably confuse most children. And then I was thinking, like, if my kid was watching this cartoon and came and asked me, what does it mean to apply for unemployment benefits? I'd be like, what did your dad talk about on the way home from school today?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like it's attempting to be timely because the U.S. was in a recession in the late 70s and the early 80s, but it was out of it by this point. So this just feels, I don't know, like a weird way to ground this show.
Maybe the writer was just hit really hard by that recession.
Could
and
be.
Just like, the wounds were still open.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, $200 million is a lot to raise in 2 days, especially in 85 money. If you factor in inflation, that must be, I don't know, $6 billion now.
Especially when you have to raise it without a single henchman.
Right.
Because they're all in the unemployment line.
Yep.
I love the idea of like this boardroom scene is like just the tip of the iceberg for the rest of like the boring business part of Cobra. Like, I could just picture them like in rooms, like Destro's on like pointing at a PowerPoint deck.
FY1 is going really well.
It's just delightful. Like what other like business things would Cobra be doing? Just like people talking at the coffee machine.
Baroness is like talking about pivot tables.
Yeah.
Boss is on my ass.
Cobra just
these
keeps
TPS
complaining about the rat
reports.
race.
You just never know. I mean, who knows what's going on in the skyscraper at Extensive Enterprises, It's a good business name, though.
It is.
So Cobra Commander's in the shit. He's in the
the red.
He's in the poop fields. And so we see the Joes who,
It's in the red.
without a lot to do, they're just kicking back while watching a little American football. And as I saw these Uber men and Uber women watching football, I realized how inferior GI Joes make me feel.
Okay.
They're all ripped to shreds.
Mm-hmm.
They fight evil.
Mm-hmm.
They have cool machines and like a personality trait. And I have none of that.
You have personality traits.
But I don't have like a single like, oh, that's the weird guy in the ghillie suit who dances, you know? Like, that would be cool to have.
I'm glad that's not your personality trait.
Well, that's one.
I'm not. If you were a G.I. Joe, what would it be, Ben?
Do you want like a dream scenario, or what would it really be?
I want to hear both.
Yeah, give me the dream one,
Well,
and
on
then
the
give me
spot,
the real one. Yeah. And Shailen, prepare your answer because it's coming to you too.
Prepare yourself.
I'm trying to think. Like, dream scenario would be some kind of spy, you know? Like,
Okay.
I could have like a cool spy glasses. My name would be Spyglass, which is not
That's
great.
pretty good.
But I could
I like that.
I could sidle in and out of places. My real
Should be like a rogue, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
My real life one. What would my real life skill be? Loungy, just good at like sitting.
You have like a cushion permanently attached to your seat, the seat of your pants.
Oh man, that would be awesome. It would also serve the purpose of making me look extra thick as well. So,
I like it. Shailen?
So my ideal would be some kind of like, have you guys seen Orange is the New Black?
No.
All right.
Yes.
So I want to be in charge of the kitchen. I'd be like Red with like connections everywhere, can make shit happen, but mostly I just smash potatoes.
Okay.
All right.
That's
your dream one.
That would be my dream one, with like the connections and the ability to just make things happen, right? Affect through like thought. My real skill would be that I would just be like potato peeler.
You think you're really good at peeling potatoes?
So what would your name be if you were just the potato peeler?
Shailen probably would be my name.
No.
No.
It would be
no.
it would be
Pamela
You need a code
Potato
name.
Peeler.
Spudzo.
How about you, Dave?
Appealing. That would be, there we go. Me, I would like if my dream one, I'd be like a flamethrower guy. And like just like my camouflage would be like orange and yellow and red and be like, it looked so fucking cool.
Mhm.
You'd be very easy to spot in the desert.
Yeah, but I'd probably be a cobra instead of a Joe.
Evil, I see.
Like, yeah. But and my G.I. Joe name would be, or my code name would be Flamer. And let's see. It's a slow burn, isn't it?
Yeah, slow burn. Hold on.
Yeah.
All right, proceed.
Were you writing it down?
I don't need to. It's immortalized.
And my actual one would probably be my code name would be Nervous Wreck, and I would be kind of twitchy and have like glasses that always like slid down the bridge of my nose, and I wouldn't be able to do much because I would just kind of hem and haw on the battlefield.
Like Robert E. Lee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Known Hemmer and Har. Okay. So yeah, I mean the Joes, they're an intimidating bunch. Less so as a kid, but more as a man in my 30s. They're watching football. Cobra Commander shows up on the TV and he's like, Joes, suck it. And I don't know what his plan was. Like, I guess it was to show Cobra as still powerful. Is that right?
I think that he was taunting them because he forgot that his entire
that he was fucked up.
empire
Yeah.
is collapsing around him.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought he was putting on airs. Like I thought he was like trying to trick them, and like so he could go to like they thought so he could go to Zartan and do the thing he did. Like I don't really know though. Like now that I'm thinking out loud, like it's that sounds wrong.
There's a lot about the Cobra plans here that are shoddy. But what this inspires...
For instance, he has an investor. He
Well,
has
that's
an
not
investor.
shoddy. I mean, that's just good business. So what this inspires the Joes to do is go to the Cobra base. And Duke can tell us, where's that fortress?
Right about here.
What you can't see in that clip is how fucking huge this fortress is. So they're flying over it, and he's like, it's right about here. As if he's like searching for it in a haystack, and it is a needle, which is a long way of saying needle in a haystack.
I thought it was like a metal detector kind of a situation. Like it's right about boop, 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 boop,
But they can
here.
see it. Anyway, that's not the point. So they go to the base, and it's covered in dust. It's deserted, except for one room. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the business talk so far, because we got a little more.
We're not. We foreclosed on Cobra and are conducting an auction in an effort to recoup our investment.
And There's a room full of cardboard Cobra soldiers, which they push over like dominoes.
It is so fun to watch and just have so much confusion floating around. And then you try to dissect it a little and it's like, nope, abort mission, go back. Just enjoy. Just enjoy.
Turn that brain off.
Yeah.
Put your economics degree to use.
Or don't.
Or do.
Which it is.
So Cobra Commander, he's with Storm Shadow. And, loan sharking is something we've talked a lot about on the show. And it's a very dangerous and it's a very real practice. But if you're... Yes, constantly. At least once a week.
Yeah.
If you're going to go to a loan shark, you got to go to the best. And that's why when I do my loan sharking, I go to Stinky's Billiards Emporium.
Mm-hmm.
Just because your funds are stinky doesn't mean your transaction has to be. I didn't plan that one out, but they go to the billiards place and it's on the docks. And in their getup, they both look like Darkman. You remember that movie?
No.
I remember, but I disagree. I think they looked like Rorschach.
Okay.
Watchmen.
Like half Rorschach, half Darkman. You could probably argue that the look of Darkman is very heavily based off Rorschach.
Ooh. Yeah, that's fair. But either way, trench coat, they look like they're about to flash people.
I would agree with that. They do look like that.
Definite peeper vibes. Yeah, have you guys watched that new Watchbot show?
I haven't yet.
Watchmen show?
No.
Dave?
No, I'll probably get into it like 3 years down the road when people are saying how great it is. And I'm like, fine, I'll pay attention.
That's one I'm not going to watch on principle. I'm going to leave I'm going to leave it at that.
What if it was like wonderful though? What if it was like the perfect TV show? Would you still not watch it? No,
because I saw a picture of the Silk Spectre and she's holding like a huge dildo it's like a Dr. Manhattan dildo. And it's like, what the fuck is this? And I couldn't have been less interested to start. And it's like, just.
Yeah, I can't say I saw that picture.
Yeah.
There are some pieces of art that should not be translated to other mediums. And Watchmen has become one of those things, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Another one is Mona Lisa. But then they made Mona Lisa smile and that worked out. So.
Oh my God, that fucking movie.
Yeah. So,
I love that movie.
Get Out.
I cried.
Who doesn't?
I cried so hard.
No, really, Get Out.
That's a good movie as well. And there are tears there.
Did like that movie.
Yes. So let's meet Stinky.
How can I be of abstinence to use?
See, the joke is he can't say words,
Yeah, he's full of malapropisms.
Yeah.
Yeah. I called him, for fans of The Wire out there, I called him Malaprop Joe.
Yeah, that plays. I like that.
Yeah.
I needed to mull on that, but I enjoy that. So the deal is Stinky's giving Cobra $1 million in cash at 400% a week, which if you can enforce it, that's quite a little racket Stinky's got going on. But there's another part to the deal. Stinky wants to see Cobra Commander's face. And we cut to commercial with Stinky, who's Shaylin height, which is about 3'6". And he's reaching his hand, his ham hock, towards Cobra Commander's face. And it comes off a little bit assaulty,
I would say
weird vibe.
A lot more than a little bit of salty.
Yeah. And we're not saying assaulty like Italian salt. We're saying like assaulty.
We're saying like borderline Me Too situation.
Yeah. Not even borderline. Things were different in 85, but doesn't make it right.
Comes off salty. Yeah, you're right.
It's super salty. So before we get the climax to that, we get that commercial music, and goddamn do I love that commercial music.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Fantastic. Just classic stuff. But the mask is electrified. Stinky is shocked, literally and figuratively. And he's going to call off the deal. And before he does, he calls his goons.
Frankie? Guido? Down!
I noticed too, there's an outside shot of the billiards place. And now it says Stanicky, Stniky. Like, how hard is it to spell words right?
Do you think that was supposed to be a joke about how he says his words wrong?
You put more thought into that than they did, so I like that.
Okay.
I just assumed they spelled it wrong, but I like that idea, Shaylin. It's some world building.
Yeah. I just thought it was on purpose, yeah.
Okay. Well, I would buy that. So the Cobra Gang gets away in a fan boat, and I've never been in a fan boat. I think I would like it.
Probably.
Loud, doesn't move terribly fast.
Alligators.
Sure.
Are those only in swamps? Or can you do that other places? Because I've only seen them in movies when they're in swamps.
So
that's a good question.
They have a shallow draw, so they would be really affected by current, probably.
They have a shallow draw.
Yeah, they don't go deep into the water. Like they float on the very top of the water.
You're a boatswain now?
I know certain words.
Yeah, me too.
I know. So
I think that they're impractical outside of a swamp, basically, is what I'm saying. That's why you don't.
A lake or something like that, or a pond. Like, could you have a hoverboat up in New England?
Well,
no swamps
only in
up
a spot, Dave, where there's a shallow draw.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
Shaylin?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have better tools at your disposal for other bodies of water.
Rig the masts.
Yes. Hoist the sail.
Swap the poop deck.
Exactly. So they're on this boat. It's also one of those funny low-quality animation moments because they have the Baroness on the boat, and this thing's moving. Her hair is like a perfect block.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
A lot of hairspray.
Yeah, that's effective.
Yeah.
They go to see Zartan and the Vipers, and they're at Zartan's swamp shack. And I always like Zartan. You know, he's a backwoodsman. You know, he's probably got a moonshine still.
Oh, yeah.
They go into his house, and they're like, oh, man, this place is a fucking dump. Then Zartan
Which is fucking rude, by the way.
That is not cool, to be fair.
Yeah. And it looked fine. It looked like a nice cabin. Fuck them.
It looked homey. We'll say that. Cozy.
But you're not going there for the riches and the glamour. You're going there to chill out. That's right. That's what it's for.
To hide out.
A dump. What a jerk.
But Zartan is not as backwoods as he would seem, right? I would say that he's probably into glamping, right? Because he hits a button and this thing turns into a Cobra base, but it's still tiny. So I guess
it's a baby base.
Yeah, like I guess I don't really understand what the point
so
of this
cute.
was.
It's such a little baby base.
It was a very impressive changeover. But this collective of evil, these masters are here to put together a nefarious plan. And this is one that came from the mind of Destro.
Destro has designed the program that creates rock and roll music.
Just leave it at that. He wants to be a record producer.
Like, when I sat down and was watching this, I had no idea what their plan was going to be. I didn't do, again, no research before or after this. Like, just sitting down and getting this cold, like, I was dying laughing. Like, what? Like, of all the plots that they could hatch, they're like, rock and roll, that's what we'll do. It's just like, what a weird decision.
It's the devil's music.
That's true.
That is true.
The Devil Stroh's music. And I think,
Sinner's Notes.
Devil Stroh's.
Was this around the time of like Tipper Gore and that stuff? Like subliminal messaging was a big thing.
Maybe.
Thanks, Shaylin. Do you guys have any favorite like subliminal messaging stories? Because when watching this, one popped to mind for me immediately.
Mine was would be Marilyn Manson. I don't know if this is a subliminal message thing, but it was like parents hated Marilyn Manson back in like 97, 98.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it's again a subliminal thing, but like my mom hated him so much because one, you just like if you listen to it, you were going to become immediately like a Satan worshiper.
Sure.
And also she heard that he removed his rib to give himself a blowjob. And like, it like told me that as a like 13 or 14 year old. Yeah. So
I'm jealous then.
Not if that answers your question, but that came right to the top of my head.
So my parents are a lot older than yours. And the basis of any subliminal messaging was based on playing the record backwards.
Sure.
So like Paul is dead and so on. And I remember my parents making a lot of jokes about, no, you have to play it backwards to hear the messages. And I remember feeling confused because if it's going backwards, you're not getting the message. You're getting the opposite of the message.
Wow. That is very counterculture.
How about you, Ben?
Saved by the Bell.
Yes. Tell us
the
more.
episode where... What? I forget if this was all of the guys or if it was just Zach. Zach definitely led the plot, and he inserted subliminal messaging into something that was being piped through the school. to
make the girls love him.
To make Kelly love him specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But Kelly found out and she turned the tables. So she had all the girls pretend that they were in love with Zach. And I don't know, this horrified him, which I guess when I say it, it feels Me Too-ish. But, you know, having lots of ladies chasing you when you're an eligible bachelor out there, it's good stuff.
Zach was such a scamp. He meant no harm.
Yeah.
He was also a scammer.
He's a little stinker.
A schemer.
Yeah. A dreamer, some would say.
He's
so
not
what are
the
we
only
talking
one.
about? Zartan.
Zartan.
So the plan is for Zartan and the Vipers to pretend to be a heavy metal band for reasons I don't actually quite understand, but we'll get there. They marvel at the easy money. That's what they're in it for.
$5 whole dollars, and all we've got to do is mouth.
$5 whole for mouthing.
$5 an hour.
Like Marilyn Manson and his ribs, you know? So we go to the music video shoot, and I think this is an obvious thing. I'm going to say it. Cold Slither, exactly like Spinal Tap.
Oh,
That's what we're going for here.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
From the sound, that sound is everywhere. But let's start with their song. We won't play a ton of it, but just so you kind of know what was hypnotizing the crowd.
We're Cold Slither, you'll be joining us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune with an iron fist and a reptile hiss.
So it kind of goes on like that. And
They're the Ghostbusters.
It does sound like that. It's a weird video because like they flamethrow the instruments and they're smashing things. And I did notice something, Shaylin, that I wanted to get your read on.
Okay.
And there's a union rep there.
Okay.
And let's hear how he's dealt with.
Excuse me, sir, but we are now into overtime, and the union rules specifically state...
The only union they should be concerned with is the one between their heads and their shoulders.
How does this union busting make you feel?
I feel negatively towards Cobra Commander.
Sure. For this behavior in particular?
I would file a grievance so fast.
Okay. Hashtag power to the people.
How do you think he would respond to your grievance?
I mean, he would have to pay the money, is how that would work.
Pay the toll.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. You gotta pay that toll.
I don't know how any of this works.
Yeah, if there's pay that someone is entitled to and like the person who's supposed to pay it isn't paying up, you file the grievance, and if they don't like come to terms with it, then they go to court and have to pay the money.
But like, would you have to deliver that grievance yourself? Like, do you have to hand deliver a letter to like Cobra Commander's fortress?
No, so you write yourself a letter and then you put it in the mail.
Yeah.
My experience has been
and then you get your grievance copyrighted.
If you CC the lawyer on the email, then that's just as good.
Speaking of CC, the Cobra Commander. So their plan, as far as I could tell, is so they need to get this music video recorded so that they can put the song out and the song can become popular, right? Or is that the plan so far? I want to dissect this as we go here.
So
I don't want to go through the entire plan right now.
I'm going to go back one step.
I would like to go back to unions.
No.
They use their very limited funding to hire people to make the video.
Well, they had $1 million.
And they'd be rich. So yes.
If I had $1 million.
I would bust a union. So they make the music video, and the song goes to the top 20.
I'd make a song with Zartan.
He does a good job, by the way, Zartan. He's a good front
excellent job.
So it goes to the top 20 in just 3 days, and the businessmen cancel the debt. They cancel $200 million worth of debt, which is fucking nuts. But they made that leap, right?
Based on a song.
But you know it's a hit because you go to a high school, not Bayside High, but another school that's affected by subliminal messaging. And we see a teacher who may be the crustiest person that we've ever encountered. Let's meet her.
How can I grade these papers with that awful music going on? It's time for class. Where are those kids?
Where are those kids?
I thought this was a GI Joe in disguise for some reason. This teacher was so jacked and like bulky. It was like, was this the inspiration for Mrs. Doubtfire? Like, I don't know why they animated the teacher this way.
She's so mad.
Oh, kids! I hate teaching.
She used to study with John Rambo, you see.
Yeah. Just hates kids.
Hates kids, super buff.
Just say no. Anyway.
Come on, Johnny.
So the kids love the music. But now we go back to the Joe's base. And what else would the Joes be doing with their R&R? But they're playing golf on a course with minefields. And we'll talk about where the golf ball goes, but let's listen to a little of that golf music. So it's good golf music, and like the ball hits Gung Ho, who's in his skivvies. We get the obligatory Lady Jane or bikini. It goes into a barbecue. It's a very, very wacky scene.
They're very relaxed with Cobra Commander out of commission.
That's true. A little too relaxed, as it turns out.
In like instantly too.
Yeah, their comeuppance came so fast. So then we go inside, and we've got Shipwreck in there, and he's reading a book called Mons Tep. And I looked up what Mons Tep was. It's nothing. It's nonsense. I assumed it had to do with like the Pubis Mons, and it would be something weird that I would regret looking up at work. But fortunately, that didn't backfire on me. And it's just nonsense.
A whole book on Pubis Mons?
Yeah. So Breaker is at the radio, and then all of a sudden, Footloose gets up. They're listening to the Cold Slither song. Footloose gets up in his little ghillie suit thing, and he's like, "You need a hobby." And he starts dancing. This is insane.
I'm speechless. I don't know what happened like during this when the Joes started listening to the music and everything before that. It was just I'm so confused by what their reactions are.
It's that, and I was trying to parse. Why do I do things like this? I was trying to parse how the subliminal messaging / hypnosis worked, because this is very clearly Zartan and his crew, and they all look at the screen, and it's like, how do they not know? They couldn't recognize Zartan?
Yeah, he's got these big fucking black triangles under his eyes.
He's got his Ultimate Warrior paint.
Yeah. I don't know how they didn't recognize that immediately. And like, they're pretty much like that until they get to like backstage later on in the episode, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't know it's them. It's hilarious. Like, what great costumes. We gave them some hair metal wigs.
So they're under the spell of Cold Slither, and you can tell because they put their arms out like they're fucking zombies and they wander off.
Cold Slither. Tonight. We better get going, man.
Jesus.
So not only are they like hypnotized, but they like become like beach bums. Like,
well, Footloose turns into fucking Tommy Chong. It's so weird.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I love rock. Like everybody who loves rock and roll, like the devil's music turns into a like Tommy Chong or Cheech. Like it's great.
Cosmic waves. I mean, we'll get there because there's a couple of things that happen in between.
Yes.
They go on a Jeep, which I'm sure has a GI Joe name, and they go to leave the base. Now, mind you, they are not prisoners on the base. They are, they're good quality soldiers. As they're flying out toward the gate, they don't say, "Hey man, we got to go to the concert." What they do say is,
"Let us out or die."
That's pretty dire.
We need this music. Like, give us this rock and roll music, please.
Because they've been brainwashed.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Fine.
So the idea is like you've been brainwashed by rock and roll music, right? So like you turn into like a person who loves rock and roll music, like. And so that's immediately what you do. Like you just like start saying like, "Hey man, chill out," and then like threatening people if they don't let you listen to your devil's music.
Yeah,
no,
that's right.
Yes,
they're willing to kill to get to where they've been told subliminally to gather.
I think you're putting too much thought into this, like that stinky sign.
No, I think that you guys are putting way too much thought into their actions not making sense. Of course they don't make sense. They've been brainwashed.
You ever been brainwashed?
I'm sure I have.
The R-rated hypnotist did it.
That was hypnotized, not brainwashed.
But this is essentially hypnotism.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, it's no different.
Wait, is there a difference?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm no professional hypnotist or a shipsman, but We have someone in the room.
Expert on unions.
Chips. Hypnotism.
Hypnotism.
Shayla, what's your scientific theory?
I think that hypnotism requires that you are focused and have some sort of like intentionality, loss of consciousness. Subliminal is like happening when you're already doing an activity and it just like happens without your knowledge. Like, you know, you're being hypnotized.
What?
You might not know that you have been, but like when it initially happens, you're aware on some level.
What about Get Out? He gets hypnotized there.
Yeah, and
does he know?
He starts off being confused, and then she does it. Like, he's aware that something is happening when it starts.
You're right, because I remember the scene where he looks at her and he goes, "Get out."
You are hypnotizing me. It was a good line.
Listeners, we want to hear from you on this hypnotism quandary. Hashtag hypnotherapy. It's like a mix of theory and therapy.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like it.
So we go to we don't go to the concert.
Not yet.
Not yet,
No?
because we're at the base. And jeez, Duke is a real cool character. Let's just listen to this.
Sounds like Cobra stuff to me.
No, Duke. Cold Slither is a rock band.
Oh, I guess I haven't been keeping up on things. But that doesn't change the fact that they've gone AWOL.
So first of all, this band's been popular for like 3 days. So they're making him feel bad for nothing. And then, I mean, these guys stormed off base to go to a concert. And he's just like, they're AWOL. Put him on a court-martial. What the fuck is Duke's problem?
Duke is a dick.
They're not supposed to leave the base. They're breaking the rules.
That's
unflinching rigidity. That's how they survive.
I know that's your family mantra.
Written on your banners.
Yeah.
I have it tattooed across my stomach.
In Old English lettering.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, Duke's a jerk, and also like he doesn't even know about Lizzo. He's so under a rock.
He doesn't know about The Weeknd.
Yeah.
Baby Shark. T Swift.
Baby Shark, I've got no time for that. You're court-martialed.
He's court-martialing for them abandoning base. He's not court-martialing them for listening to music.
Because he's only
the joke was he just throws out court-martials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're court-martialed for drinking a beer during recording. Because I, like Duke, am only concerned with one thing.
Even if Cobra's washed up, I'm not letting discipline slip around here.
You're goddamn right. Now we go to the concert.
That's what he calls his dick.
Discipline?
Yeah. It's gross.
Discipline? No, I like discipline better. We'll workshop that one. So we go to the concert.
I'm going to go on mute. Give me 7 minutes. I'll come up with a good one.
7 minutes of heaven, baby. It's sold out. And as noted, the Joes are there. You got Shipwreck, you got Breaker, you got Footloose. Footloose is tripping balls.
Cosmic vibes. Wow.
Which is fucking wild.
Have you guys ever gone to a concert where someone you're with just like completely loses their mind and it's really uncomfortable because you are not losing your mind?
Like drugs lose your mind or just lose your mind with the vibes?
Either.
I don't
not
get
like
how much,
witnessed,
so no.
but with the person.
No.
Have you?
Yes.
I was going to say clearly that's an entree into a story.
So when I was in high school, I went with a couple of girls to see. Oh, this is so embarrassing. We saw Matchbox 20 with Train.
Oh, man.
And so that's the show.
What color shirt were you wearing?
I don't remember. What I do remember is that one of the girls that I was with, we were not close to the stage.
Sure.
She just had her hands up in the air, her palms out toward the stage, like she might like reach out to touch someone.
Damn it. I was going to say that.
It was like she was trying to put her hands on the people on the stage that were easily like 50 feet away.
That's the embarrassing story.
And she
were you wearing a pinafore with the band's name on it?
She just kept screaming, "I love you," and she started crying.
Okay.
And it was the most confusing thing for me because A, like the bands were not that great, and B, like why would you sob from like a football field away? It's weird.
I thought like you had somebody with like a switchblade or something.
No.
Oh.
I did see my art teacher super high, like at a concert.
I feel like you sold us a bill of goods going into
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in this. This is like my Marilyn Manson.
I thought somebody was having like a bad trip or was super drunk, but it was somebody
it was
crying.
Just weird. Like she was sobbing with
when I go
chemicals.
when I go to Buffett concerts, I'm going to start sobbing. Is that
Were
weird?
Happy tears?
It's weird.
They were happy tears, right?
She was like overwhelmed somehow.
Okay.
Just aroused and raptured and just like moved to tears.
I guess.
Yeah.
The behavior was confusing, and I felt like I was watching like a National Geographic special that didn't compute. I was like, what is this?
Well, unlike Shaylin, some of us enjoy having fun at concerts and don't judge people for having a good time.
Not me. I just throw out court martials.
Shaylin, you're like one of the MPs that show up to the concert, you know?
Hell yeah.
The whole this is another fun animation thing. So the MPs walk in and the Joes are like swaying back and forth a little bit. The rest of the crowd is frozen. And a lot of times in those situations, they're just people that are staring dead-eyed straight ahead, right? Not G.I. Joe. There is somebody in the middle of this shot, mouth hanging agape, staring up. It's like a fucking grotesque painting. But the point is, the MPs hear the song, and they also fall under the cold Slither spell, and they trip balls too. Everybody trips balls.
Let's get mellow. Wow.
Wow.
So he puts his hand on the GI Joe, and there's a parrot on his shoulder, and the parrot is just so stoic and still listening to the music. That was my favorite part of this episode.
The parrot's a real shit stirrer usually.
That's true.
Yeah, but it was so like I don't know if it was like so shocked that like Shipwreck wasn't doing anything, but like or if it was just like also hypnotized or brainwashed or whatever we've determined.
Brainwashed bird.
I took it as like dumbfounded. Like, why are all these people here to listen to this bullshit?
You ever go to a concert with a bird and
Not
it just
so
starts
far.
sobbing?
Yeah, and the bird just starts losing its shit.
It's wearing a shirt of the band.
Did you know that bird was the same one in Deep Blue Sea with LL Cool J? Yeah.
I'd believe it.
Think about
Connected universe. It all makes sense. So everybody's hypnotized. And Cobra, who in this case are represented by the Baroness, by Destro, by Cobra Commander, they're holed up in the hot dog stand. And the crowd is docile. And the Baroness does what I would do in this situation. And that's not take the situation seriously at all.
Now say all hail Destro and the Baroness!
Stop this foolishness!
She's like making them do calisthenics and stuff. She doesn't make anybody kiss, which is the natural thing to ask people to do. But
I laughed so hard. Kneel down. Hit the floor. Cheer for me.
Yeah.
Put your thumbs in your bum.
Now, let's go back to the plan. So they've succeeded so far. They put the messaging in the song, right? They have the crowd there. And I thought that Cobra Commander was trying to rebuild his forces, right? Like with the idea that these people were under his control. But no, he just wants money.
Yeah.
It seems like there was a simpler way to do this.
If he wanted money, he could have just sold the tickets for like double since they were already brainwashed and they were going to give it to him.
Okay.
Right? Like
Yeah,
that would have
maybe.
been an option. Another option would have been to, profit with your international criminal terrorist organization.
Yeah, I mean, they had $1 million.
I don't know why he didn't just like off the two creditors who were trying to take his like take him to.
You can't take down Tamox and Zomat that easily.
Yeah, they had $1 million.
They'd finance a coup.
Yeah, it would really finance a great coup.
Anyway, so the plan sucks is the point. So Cobra Commander, he cuts into the TV feed again, and he's like, I've got your people, and G.I. Joe don't come because we have tanks. And Duke's like, oh man, we got played. We're fucking fools. But the girls, the G.I. Joe girls, the G.I. Janes, they got a plan. You know what I'm saying?
A good plan because they're smart.
It is a good plan, but we're not there yet. So I had a thought during this, like, why was Cold Slither still playing the song? Because they had the crowd under their control. They had this thought as well at a point where they're like, this crowd's here. We're just playing this 1 4-minute song for like 3 hours. So
yeah. Why couldn't they just put the record on?
And eventually that's what they do. Because the Vipers and Zartan... Well, the Vipers go first. Zartan is there by himself. They wander off stage. And they note that they're getting a little deal here.
I'm telling you, we're getting a raw one from Cobra Commander.
A raw one indeed.
A raw one.
But not so raw as it would be after you encounter some groupies, which is what they find. So they go to their dressing room. And
I get it.
Yes. Yes. And there's 3 groupies there.
Gross.
It's, of course, Scarlet, Lady J, and oh boy, who is the third one?
I just wrote the girls.
Insert name here.
Iceberg.
Yes, it's Iceberg. And so they beat the fuck out of the Vipers. For some reason, Scarlet had to wear a wig, but Lady J did not. I'm not really sure why.
Well, Lady J, her costume was just her button-down shirt tied up in a bow in the front. Like, so, whoa, who are you? I don't understand.
Her navel is very distracting.
We'd already seen her in a bikini this episode, so you got all that eye candy already. Now it's time to get to business. So they get into the concert. They beat the fuck out of the Vipers, spray them with perfume. Then they go to infiltrate the Cobra nest, as it were. And here, Cobra's like, how are you not under our spell? You should be swaying and doing calisthenics with the rest.
Yes.
The way that they explain this, it's clunkier than the transition that I just used to get to this point.
Which is amazing, but...
I know. I astound myself.
Your subliminal sound effects didn't seem to work on them, Destro.
What'd she say? I don't know. Wait till I remove these earplugs.
Earplugs.
Earplugs?
Earplugs.
Oh, boy.
Who knew all it would take to take down all of Cobra Commander's empire? Earplugs.
Yeah. But then he immediately plays an ear-shattering sound.
Wait a minute.
Earplugs.
That's what they used in Get Out. This was the inspiration for Get Out.
Earplugs.
He put the cotton in his ears.
Yeah, I mean, Batman used earplugs on a number of occasions to get out of these kind of situations. So,
all right,
if it's good enough for Batman, it's good enough for me. So the Cobras, they jump through the window. They're there. GI Joe takes over the board with the subliminal stuff.
Wait. They jump out a window. You're really underselling that moment. They jump out a window in hopes of landing on an awning that's below them.
Right. There's always an awning.
Yes. The awning, however, crashes. Like, unlike other cartoon awnings we've seen in this podcast, this one just crashes and they just are injured. It was delightful. I loved it.
My notes say here, thank God a realistic awning finally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? I'm sorry. That's on me.
And you were just going to skip over it. You son of a bitch.
I'm so excited to talk about the ending. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, well, let's get to it.
Let's get to it. So the G.I. Joes prove that they're no better than Cobra because they also take advantage of the subliminal messaging.
Now, everybody, repeat after me. Cobra Commander is a clown.
Cobra Commander is a clown.
And they put the hypnotized Joes who know no better. They put them on kitchen duty for a month, which sucks. And then Duke shows up. And the party's over. This single-minded fuck. Bastard.
Hey, maybe we should take this subliminal thing back to headquarters. It might help keep some discipline around there.
So he's gonna use this hypnotized machine to discipline the troops.
Brainwashing is bad if you're a criminal. Brainwashing is okay.
You know who I bet would like Duke?
Who?
Donald Trump.
Ugh.
Boo.
I was saying boo earns.
The threat is past. They chainsaw the machine. The machine is destroyed. But now they got a stadium full of people and an angry parent. They all want music. Like you go to a concert, you want music. Shaylin, have you ever been to a concert with someone and then they didn't play the music and then the person you were with was like, we want music?
Yes.
Yeah?
Totally.
Okay.
And that was it.
What color was the shirt?
Blue.
Listeners want to know. Fortunately,
it was a pinafore.
There was a duck.
It was a Letterman pinafore.
Do you guys know who suggested the solution to the problem that the Joes faced? Do you know which G.I. Joe it was?
No.
Was it Roadblock?
It was Rock and Roll.
Oh.
Which is so fucking on the nose, and I loved it. But Rock and Roll, here's the plight of the people. And he suggests the solution.
You know, it's not really fair. They did pay to see a concert. Are you thinking what I think you're thinking?
Now, I knew what I was thinking that they thought they were thinking. But what happens is unbelievable. I have the clip here. It's about 40 seconds long. But what it is, and we will play it for you in glorious detail, folks. It is the Joes. They go on stage. They're not playing as G.I. Joe. They're playing as the Average Joe Band, which is a strange band name, I think.
It's a GD Delight, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why would they be the Average Joe Band?
They were like missing a jug, like Average Joe Jug Band. It would have been better. And then they're just sitting there going, like a washboard guitar and thing would be great.
When I think Average Joe Band, I think like, mom and her friend like to play guitar and sing, the guitar friend has a drum set, so we're going to like jam together on a Friday night.
Yeah. But they're all really good is the thing.
Are they?
They are. Let's just listen to it, folks. Boy, like I said, this is long. This is fantastic.
Worth it.
This is the end of the episode, by the way. Not ours. Ours never ends.
And now, for the greatest rock and rollers in the land, the Average Joe Band.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe. Real American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra, the enemy, fighting to save the day. He never gives up. He's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. A real American hero. G.I. Joe is there. He'll never give up. He'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will care. G.I. Joe. A real American hero. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe.
Of all the songs in the world to play, they play the G.I. Joe theme song.
What else would they play?
Why? Like, would they? This introduces a lot of weird meta narrative stuff into this show, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
I heard it and I was like, Ben's getting galaxy brained right now.
How would they know what the song was? Did they write it? Is that the implication?
Is it like the Army song or the Navy song? Like, is that the G.I. Joe song with the rest of the cast?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking they had all that free time while Cobra Commander was like out of commission, that they made up a band, the Average Joes, and came up with the song.
I like too that they're like, all right, so we need like a 26-piece band, and one of those 26 pieces needs to be a theremin. Like, why was there a theremin in this song? What the fuck is what's going on?
So I also had the question, their thing is, it's only fair since these people paid for tickets. Let's not refund their money since they got brainwashed.
Sure.
Let's instead ad-lib a song for them. That'll make up for it.
You think they just jam band? That's they Grateful Dead that thing?
Maybe.
And like that's the thing too.
I have no reason to believe otherwise.
I mean, I guess
those cosmic vibes rubbing off on it.
I would have to assume that the folks in the crowd felt bad because these are very clearly soldiers who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And like they're just golf clapping to just give us a song and we'll go home. I just want to go home.
I don't even know how I got here. I might have threatened a man's life.
My teacher is really upset. Oh,
yeah,
what's
it's like
going on?
It's like the stadium version of that guy who takes out his guitar in the dorm room and starts playing shitty songs, like Champagne Supernova covers. And everybody's just like, God, we just have to, just give him like 10 more minutes. We'll be fine. But like that times, however many people are in this stadium.
You're just praying that one of the strings breaks on the guitar.
Folks, you may like Lady J and Scarlet, but you're going to love them when they're singing into one mic like they're the Supremes. Like, what? This is truly crazy. But it gets even weirder because the final shot of the episode, the camera pans up and it pans to the American flag. Now, on this show, that's not too strange, but it's the Betsy Ross American flag.
Yes. What the fuck?
And where did it come from?
Big flags are at every stadium.
The Betsy Ross flag.
Oh, she made it herself. I think. Yeah. So they just had it.
Is this like an alternate reality where like it's only the 13 colonies?
Interesting thought.
I
don't hate it.
Yes, it's certainly an alternate reality.
Yes, yeah. I'm just throwing it out there. I think the fact that you guys can't respond, that's the right one. That's the answer.
Occam's razor,
Yeah, exactly.
So, quid pro quo. So that is GI Joe Part 2.
Sure.
And
per diem.
Let's rate it. Show it to a kid. Quickly. Yes, no?
Yes.
Yeah. Dave?
Totally.
Yeah, a fucking course. And let's do 1 to 5 cold slithers. And I'm not talking the band.
Ben, get your dick out of the freezer.
That's how it stays
5.
Tender. What?
Slithery. 5.
Yes.
5 for me.
Jalen?
4.5 stolen Jeeps.
What?
I don't
You
want to
can't
deal
make
in
your own
cold
rating
slithers.
system.
I want stolen Jeeps.
Well, then you need to quantify why you took that half Jeep off.
I took a half Jeep off because I didn't love how much Cold Slither reminded me. Slither reminded me of
Slither
Spinal
is a
Tap.
good movie too. Okay, you didn't like that?
No.
What?
I wanted something
Wait, what?
wackier. I wanted wackier music.
What would be wackier?
I don't know.
We need to
I'm
follow
not.
this through.
I'm not a musician. I
Like
don't write.
Weird Al?
Just polka music?
I wanted something that didn't sound like Ghostbusters.
GI polka.
No,
Okay.
I had Ghostbusters stuck in my head all week because of it, and I want to not have
You
that.
had Cold Slither. So
what sort of music is the Ghostbusters theme song?
Earworm. I want less of an earworm.
no, that's the point. That's how they get you.
Ugh.
Well, on to my rating. This episode is very well remembered, as it turned out. If you go to like 80s Tees or T Public, there are Cold Slither t-shirts for sale, which is pretty cool.
I would wear that.
And Cold Slither,
Christmas is coming.
it's true, shows up on Transformers, just in the background at points, the song. So
That's amazing.
It crosses boundaries. And I mean, what else could I give this but a 5? This was a lot of fun. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. It puts the GI Joes in situations that you don't think of them being in, and that's, for me, that's what it's all about. Watching them fight Cobra is fine, but I want to see them doing weird shit. And what else could I ask for?
I think I had a little anxiety about all the bankruptcy talk, so maybe that was my problem. I thought it was the music.
Is that why you took away half a Slither?
I think so. Half a
I thought it
stolen
was because
Jeep.
I thought it was because the music wasn't wacky enough.
It was something.
Well, the good news is 4.5 jacked Jeeps equals 5 Cold Slithers, so it's a perfect score. Now,
Yeah, Jack that cold Slither.
if you guys will remember from our very first episode, the game, which I seem to recall going very well, was GI Joe or GI No.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. And there you were asked to identify whether somebody was a character or, somebody that I made up. And it really set the tone for games on this show that go really, really well. Right. So, but I didn't want to repeat myself. So this is kind of the 2.0 version of that game. Are you ready? So this is good. I'm proud to present to you GI Jehicle or Not a Vehicle.
Love it.
It's a solid start.
Love it.
The concept.
It's a punch up.
The concept is I'm going to give you the name of a vehicle, and if there's a character associated with it, I'll give you both. I won't really tell you what they are. I'm just going to give you the name. You just got to give me a GI Jehicle or not a vehicle. Okay? We'll go back and forth.
All right.
Who wants to go first?
Dave.
Sure.
Dave, the killer whale, which stands for Warrior Hovering Assault Launching Envoy, and that came with Cutter.
That is a GI Jehicle.
That is correct. The killer whale was a Joe vehicle. Shaylin?
Yes.
The water moccasin, which came with Copperhead. GI Jehicle or not a vehicle?
GI Jehicle, Ben.
That is indeed a GI Jehicle. That was a Cobra vehicle that actually showed up in this episode. I think it was one of like the ski boats or whatever.
Okay.
So anyway, Dave, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Triple T, Tag Team Terminator, came with Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, damn it. That sounds like a Jehicle.
That is indeed a GI Jehicle.
Yeah. It was the tag team or triple team Sergeant Slaughter mix that gave it away. Yeah.
All right, Shaylin.
Ready.
The Red Rocket, which came with Dogtooth.
No, that is not real.
Damn it. That's correct. But what if it was?
Oh man, I so want that. What would it look like if it was, Shaylin?
It would look like an erect dog penis, Dave.
No. So it would be like a rocket ship, like the classic like NASA rocket ships, but like the top could come off and it could extend.
Gross.
Yeah,
I'm uncomfortable.
It'd be a good vehicle.
Talking about rocket ships.
All right, Dave.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I'm here.
Toss and Cross, which came with Toll Booth.
That is a Jehicle.
GI Jehicle. That's correct. So it's 3-2. Shaylin for the tie. This one didn't come with a guy or a lady. Swamp Masher.
GI Jehicle.
Damn it. At least it's fast. Question 7. Dave, this one's for you. The vehicle is the native sun, and it came with moonshine.
That's a no.
God damn it. Fine. You're right. Shaylin, this is...
I mean, yes, it is one.
Well, if you want to lose the game, you can throw it.
No, I'm not losing this game.
Shaylin, this one's for you.
I'm ready.
Septic tank.
Not real.
You're very wrong. It was a GI Jehicle.
Oh my God.
Called the septic tank.
Cool. Yeah. Who would it come with?
That one didn't come with anyone. So a lot of the smaller vehicles didn't come with guys. It was usually the bigger ones.
Was it just a brown tank that spat poop?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. It's exactly what it sounds like.
I don't know what you're going to do with that, but just save that drop, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it on the back burner. So that was the win. Dave wins 4-3. I did have a tiebreaker question, which we're going to do for shits and giggles. And
do it.
I realized again, as I ran out of vehicles, so I moved to a playset, which defeats the whole parlance of the game. But somebody shouted out, Terrordrome, GI Jehicle or not a vehicle?
Not a vehicle.
Shaylin, you want to hazard?
GI Jehicle.
Dave is technically right because it's not a vehicle, but Shaylin is also technically right because it is a G.I. Joe playset. So Dave still wins, but I feel like our games have progressed incrementally in here.
Laterally.
I'll tell you what, the names have gotten better. The names have gotten much better.
You're definitely right about that.
I think, yes, GI Jehicles is one of our best. I think you and I, Ben, have had some pretty good names. Shaylin, you're this or that.
I occasionally have a good one.
It's not playing. What was your? Oh, your last game was really good.
Yeah, fuck you, Dave. Yeah.
Yeah. We do our best.
You could do with this, you could do with that. You could do with this, or you could do with that.
See, mine have a theme song.
I should start doing a better cataloging of the names of things, but it's
Speaking
hard.
of cataloging.
Yes.
This is perfect, it being our birthday episode. Back in episode 1, we had this grand idea of counting fake deaths.
Oh, man, yeah, I know.
And tracking that.
Yep.
No, we didn't.
Well, here's the thing.
I think we abandoned that in like episode 3.
It was 89.
We did abandon it, but here's why.
I didn't.
Well, I took
89.
it out, as the person managing the show notes, I abandoned it. The reason for that was that concept worked really well in GI Joe, but when we moved in like other directions, which was fine, like nobody's dying in My Pet Monster. So
yeah, not a lot of fake deaths in Rainbow Brite.
That number sat static for like 8 weeks, and at that point, I was like, you know what? We tried it out.
The fucking horse should have died in Rainbow Brite.
Goddamn right. But you know what?
Survival.
We're reminiscing here. We're in the past. So let's move to a mailbag question so we can do so officially. What's WatchBots? You've been doing this shit for a year and it's solid content. Rock solid. Well, that is, feels like that's damning with faint praise. Anyway, what's been your favorite episode so far? Love in Christ, Chode Torkelson from Stumptown, USA. So I don't like talking about our own stuff too much, but I mean, you know, we've been bullshitting here for like 70 hours of time, which is maybe not the best thing to say. What are your guys' highlights? What are your favorite episodes?
The ones where I was really funny and like you all laughed at my jokes.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I think Are You Afraid of the Dark was a high point.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because I really liked the show that we watched and I felt like we had a good conversation about it. And I really liked the theme song to Gummy Bears. Highlights.
Okay. All right.
That's it for Shaylin.
My favorite, and I think Shaylin's answer might now top that. I think my favorite was a pup named Scooby-Doo. I believe that was the one where Shaylin got hammered, and we were talking about margaritas a lot.
That did happen.
We don't do that on this show.
Yeah, not on this show.
I was on vacation.
That was a delightful one. Yes, you said that. Yeah.
I'm scrolling through the list because like I've talked about this, and I mean this is 100% true. Like once these shows go off, like I do not remember. So I'm scrolling through the list, being like, which ones did I like? Rambo, I think was one I enjoyed a lot. We were pretty punchy for that one because I think we had just recorded one back to back. But Rambo was a blast. I enjoyed Super Mario because I think I came up with a really convoluted game for that. Not that would ever happen. What else we got here? Our guest appearances, folks coming on is always a good time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's always a good one. Just like any episode where Shaylin is drunk to the point of articulating is my favorite episode.
Well, I'm glad to know that there's one thing about my existence that makes people happy, or at least person happy.
There you go.
Elocution.
Just in terms of recent episodes, I was partial to Thundercats. That spawned some merchandise for us and like a lifetime of jokes. And I mean, I love them all. You know what my favorite one is? This one right now, and also the next one, and also all of them.
You're so sweet.
They're all our babies. But yeah, you know, it's been a good year-ish. Put question marks after every word in that sentence.
But listeners, since we're hitting officially a year next week, we want to hear from you with hashtag the moment I stopped listening.
That's right.
Chime in.
Yeah.
And then stop.
Well, don't really stop it.
Yeah, don't. I mean, we need.
We still need listeners.
We need those downloads.
Smash that like button.
Spindrift isn't gonna advertise with us if we don't have the listeners.
That's right. How else am I going to get that sweet Game Fuel sponsorship?
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be nice.
This Torian's giving me a headache. But yeah, that's so. Thanks, Chode. You're not a chode to me. I don't know what that means. Email at watchbotspod.com if you want to get in on the fun.
That was very, very convincing.
We love you. We love you, Chode.
You're not a chode?
Yeah, to me. So
you're not a chode to me.
That's GI Joe again. That's a year of cans in the can.
Let's do
another GI Joe.
I was going to say another year, but Dave said he was retiring at the same time, so I don't know how to feel.
Well, these mics are staying hot no matter what, so.
This is the awkward part where Ben's like, well, I'm glad you did it because we were going to fire you.
You fucking up, you piece of shit.
Keep making fun of my wife on air.
I don't think I did that.
Her and her pinafores.
Yeah.
No, I was saying
the other way.
That was what you would say. Ben.
You were firing Dave for making fun of me.
There were quotes around that.
Yeah, nobody makes fun of Shaylin on this show.
No.
This is like a precious peach.
Pinafore peach.
Oh, I hate you both so much.
Look forward to next week when our whole format changes to just the Shaylin roast. There's not even a pretext of a cartoon anymore.
Is that not what we already do?
Right, but we have the pretext of the cartoon.
I see.
Stay tuned next week for an hour and a half long story of the time Shaylin went to a concert and her friend had a good time. What were we talking about?
G.I. Joe.
Oh boy. Well, listeners, thanks for hanging around for a year or whatever you picked up. Buy a t-shirt, keep the lights on. You don't have to do that, but we like the t-shirts. So you can follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, on Jiffy, on YouTube, on Facebook. Any other social media network, Shaylin?
Instagram.
Tinder?
No.
Just take the logo. And WatchBotSpot.
Match.com.
We're more of an Ashley Madison kind of podcast.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Just for advertising, though, not for like actual practices. This is off the rails. Please subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. Folks, those iTunes reviews apparently help in the algorithm, so fucking help out.
Keep them coming.
Yeah. All of them. But until next week, this has been signing off for Shaylin and Dave. Thanks for listening to 52 of these, or however many you have. Thanks for listening to this one, at least. And until next week, didn't think this one through.
I got one.
Oh, you got one? Yeah, do it.
Happy birthday to you.
See, it's not so easy, is it? Listeners, we got a can situation.
It's a pull and slide. So I pulled and slid.
Oh, I only saw open.
So it's open, and you sip out of the side that I told you is dripping from, because that's where you drink from. It's the bigger hole.
Ben, what's going on over there?
Oh, so listeners, I don't even know where we're going to logically cut this in.
It's fine.
I have a Game Fuel Mountain Dew charged original dew flavor. You don't want coffee for the show. You want something you haven't tried before.
You need some zip.
The can is very complex because there's a pull tab. Supposedly, I think for a 2XP Modern Warfare code. I don't see it in here for what it's worth, but then there's another side. You gotta push the shit around. So I needed an adult to make it happen, but here we are. You know, we made it work.
Is there a tab on the side where you can just crack it open on the side and shotgun the Game Fuel?
I think you're supposed to just use a screwdriver for that, right? Or a knife?
I mean, the interesting thing is original Game Fuel was for Halo 3 and I believe was a Mountain Dew product, but it was a soda, where this claims to be an energy drink. And actually, for you health nuts out there, a 16-ounce can, only 90 calories and like not as much sugar as you would think. So
how much taurine is in that?
Fortunately, the percentage isn't there.
Ah, damn it.
I am getting 20% of my vitamin A, a lot of niacin, a little bit of pantothenic acid. So we'll see.
Good. So you're ready.
Yeah, it's almost 9:00 at night. I'm excited to be bouncing off the walls until fucking 4 a.m. But we're recording, so.
All right, you're ready. I'm ready.
We're
Let's
live
do this.
now. Shaylin, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Woo!